Yes, we are now live, and this is what something. Yes, somebody. Yeah, hello, Alexandra. Okay, welcome.
Hello.
Okay, just a minute. So,
Thank you for joining from Toronto, Aurora. I appreciate the motivation to wake up early, I believe.
okay, now I hope we can start. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's online meetup organized by the Azerbaijan Data and AI Fabric community. My name is Ilgar Zarbaliyev, and I'm very happy to see AI and technology enthusiasts joining us today. And by the way, I will go on with accepting interest requests. So in this session, we will explore two of Microsoft's newest AI certifications, AB 730 and AB 700. By the way, Alexandra, will you be so kind as to accept these interest requests? You can do it
Absolutely.
as you
Yeah,
post. Okay,
I'm
thank you.
doing it for no
Oh,
worries.
okay. Thank you. Yeah. In this session, we will explore two of Microsoft's newest AI certifications, AB 730 and 731, and discuss how these certifications can help professionals strengthen their AI knowledge and prepare for the future of intelligent business solutions. So thank you once again all for being here, and let's begin. And today's session is focused on AI skills for the future and the growing importance of AI literacy in modern organizations. So our speaker will introduce the purpose and structure of both these exams, certification exams, and explain the skills measured and share practical preparation strategies. These certifications are especially valuable for business professionals, managers, transformation leaders, and anyone working with Microsoft 365 Copilot and AI-powered solutions. So it's now my pleasure to introduce our speaker, Alexandra Zakharova. Alexandra is a senior solution architect at Microsoft and experienced data and AI tech labs, international speaker and professional artist. She has delivered more than 300 training sessions across 40 countries and worked with over 100 clients worldwide. And Alexandra has also taught at leading institutions such as Sorbonne University, ECB Digital, and EFRE. I hope I pronounced their names correctly. And I hope Alexandra will give the necessary information about herself in next minutes. And we are truly honored to have Alexandra with us today. And please join me in warmly welcoming her. Upcoming speakers. Before we continue, I would also like to briefly mention some of our upcoming speakers and sessions. So we're continuously bringing global experts and community leaders to share knowledge on Power BI, AI, Microsoft Fabric, Excel, security, analytics, and digital transformation. So upcoming speakers include Amit Kanda, Anna Letizia Sampaio, and Anna Bardiuk. So please stay connected with our meetup group to receive updates about future sessions and events. A little bit about meetup rules. So before we proceed, let's quickly review a few meetup guidelines. Please keep your microphones muted during the presentation to avoid interruptions. Questions can be shared in the chat, and we'll address them during the Q&A session at the end. This session is being recorded, actually is lively streaming on YouTube, and may later be shared publicly for educational purposes. And finally, don't forget to follow our meetup group to stay updated on future events and learning opportunities. So here is today's schedule. The first 3 or 4 minutes introduction that I'm doing right now, and then most probably 40 or 45 minutes will be presentation by Zakharova, and at the end we'll have the necessary, Q&A session. So thank you once again for joining today's meetup. And now I would like to hand it over to our speaker, Alexandra. The floor is yours, and welcome once again. I'm going to stop sharing. You can start sharing your screen and go on. Good luck.
Thank you so much, Ilgar. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you everyone who is watching live or the recording. It's a big pleasure for being here with you and to speak about last Microsoft certifications that we have. Just for info, for those who are joining live, I will check all the time the chat. So if you want to ask questions in parallel as well, or like you need some more details, you're more than welcome to comment into the chat as well during the call. As Ilgar already mentioned, he presented me, so it's nice because I don't have the job of speaking about myself. Maybe just few extra facts. I did wrote a book in French about artificial intelligence, and if you would like to ask some questions after the session, or if you have any feedback, you're also more than welcome to join me on LinkedIn. You have two links on the right part of my screen. One is to my LinkedIn profile, ak.ms/Alexandra, and second one is straight away to my book. To complete what Ilgar did mention, I do teach at university as well, currently mostly at Sorbonne University, and I do specialize myself in AI and applications. So it's what I'm currently doing at Microsoft. And I did spend at Microsoft 4 years, and I did worked as a trainer, mostly on data and AI, and now I'm working on architecture part of things. And to start today's session, about Microsoft new certification, I would like to remind to some of you what they are for, what we have at Microsoft as the different certification options, and maybe also clarify the formats of certifications that we have. What you see currently on my screen, it's the main source of truth when it's coming to what is available at Microsoft. We call it certification poster. And on certification poster, what is interesting, you have different colors. You have black, you have some kind of pinkish pink color on the bottom. And this is very important to understand that the two certifications that I will speak about today, they're business certifications. Why I'm starting with it? Because since multiple years, Microsoft did have multiple technical certification. Historically, we had fundamentals and role-based certification. And since last year, we do have GitHub certifications that we call specialty certifications. And we recently added two business certification. It means that they are open not only for people who has a technical knowledge, but also those working in business. And those two non-technical but business certification will be the purpose of today's meetup. If you're curious to review, let's say, what are other certifications that are more technical, you can access this poster online. I will put this link into the chat, and we'll be sure to add it after to the comments on a YouTube recording, because probably if you open this video in 3 weeks from now, the reality could be different. We adjust the certification. Maybe some of you who are more technical watching it or listening to me live had in the past AI 900, that is artificial intelligence fundamental certification. We did replace it now by AI 901. So it means that everything that you'll find on this link that I did post in the chat, and when you look on this poster, view poster button just right here. I'll highlight it for everyone who is watching. You will find this last section, business, and I will zoom a bit into it with two topics of our today presentation. What is nice about this poster that I highly recommend that when you click on the name of certification, it will open straight away the exam page. And each time when you consult this poster, you will see the date of the last update in the bottom left part. So this is the last update was done last month, and currently we have only two main business certification. Both of them has official Microsoft Learn page, where you'll find the level, the role, what is the product related, and the subject. The pages that you'll find here, and I'll also add them into the chat for those who are watching us, so you can save them in your favorites, will include all the content. So it's first nice news. Microsoft always provides the content and all certifications for free. So it means if you want to go into details, because we have only 50 minutes together, it's quite short, you can go here, open the pass, and read the full content for free on Microsoft Learn. It's available for all Microsoft certification. If you look more into the content of two of them without reviewing the page, it has plenty of information. The first important sign is the purpose beginner level. When we mention beginner level, it means that there is no code associated with. If you're not a developer, it's absolutely fine. You can easily prepare for this certification. So the logical question is, if there are both beginner level, no code, what are the differences? What are the differences between AB 730, that it's a name and the title is AI Business Professional, and the second one is AB 731, the title is AI Transformation Leader. As they're both beginners, there is no coding, they have differences in the scope. AB 730, it speaks only about Copilot, Microsoft Copilot in 365, daily usage, prompt engineering. Everything that you learn about prompts, agents, or the business content into it actually applies to every LLM. OpenAI, Gemini, it's the same rules that you will find across different artificial intelligence solutions. The second certification, AI Transformation Leader, has a larger scope. It doesn't speak only about Copilot itself, it's also cover Foundry, Microsoft Foundry solution, and the difference between Copilot and Foundry, and it's very use case based. It means it's mostly about checking that you understand which product is adjusted to which use case and how different business professionals can use artificial intelligence today. This is the main difference between two of them. As both of them are beginner level, it means that it's very easy to understand, but also it's very business related. Most of the question on the exam will be about use cases and your general understanding of how AI is working. So when I say your general understanding, it means it's more about logic and use cases rather than about the technology itself, like AI 901 certification, for example. Why it's done this way, now as we know what is the difference, it's mostly because we wanted to create at Microsoft something that is more related to end users and to business professionals. Today it exists on a YouTube channel. For example, AB 730 is available there. You see that we don't have only those two for Copilot, but those two are business related. And it also means that those are entry points. If you want to go deeper, you'll see there are multiple certifications aligned to it, and all of them, again, are available on this certification poster that I started. These two types of certification, they're related to the concept of frontier firm. It means that we are focusing on employee experience, customer engagement, and the business's processes. It's why when you will pass the certification, if you decide to do so, you need to understand how those solutions are integrated into the business, the main security feature, and the differences between different products. And it's all. To help you to be prepared to those certifications, there are different skilling options available. So the first one that I just started to mention at the beginning, it was Microsoft Learn. I do believe for most of you who are watching it or are with us, it should be something very common. Also, don't hesitate to let me know in the chat if you have had different exams in the past, or it will be your first one. So I maybe can adjust my explanation also to those who join us today. So don't hesitate to let me know if it's your first certification or you did something in the past for those who are live with us. Why I'm asking it, because by default, any certification that you want to do with Microsoft, you can find it on Microsoft Learn. On Microsoft Learn, there will be a learning pass. There will be also course videos. And we do have a free Microsoft YouTube channel as well. I actually recorded myself AB 730, one of the two exams that we're speaking today. So you can also decide based on your learning practice if you prefer to watch, to read, or just to listen. Both of versions are available for free. The both exams are part of Microsoft certifications. You can see that we also do have something different at Microsoft Applied Skills. The differentiation will be certification are paid and applied credentials or applied skills are free. To give you an idea, to pass one of the two exams that we are speaking today about, AB 730 and AB 731, you will need to have 45 minutes. So it's the duration of the exam. And the Pearson View price today, as we record the session, is $99. For sure, some organization can co-fund. Sometimes we also provide vouchers at Microsoft, but official price up to date, $99 and 45 minutes to pass. And it's mean if, for example, you don't want to invest in certification because it's still financial investment, we also do have applied skills around Copilot that could also be a proof of your Copilot knowledge, but for free. So as we provide certification, videos, Microsoft Learn content, we also include in each certification a practical assessment. So you could be sure that you're ready for the exam before going into the exam. Some other learning, not specifically related to those two certification, but it's also nice to double check. You have a free AI skills navigator to learn AI skills from Microsoft, and you have Microsoft virtual training days available that usually lasts for 2 days, around 5 hours. And at the end, you have some reductions for certification. You have a live moderator access. So if you have some specific technical question, it's very nice to join those Microsoft virtual training days. Everything that I mentioned so far, again, it's available for free. So it's only demands from your time. The only exception where you need to pay their certifications because they're going over the Pearson View website. But otherwise, you can start to work on your AI knowledge today with all those available options that I just presented. What else is important about those two certifications? That they are part of AI-powered productivity path. It means that when we are focused on AB 730, it's usually the path of the business leaders. Sometimes business leaders will also go for Copilot immersion experience, and after that, achieve this certification. It's just an idea of what you can do else. Again, all these codes titles that you'll find on the posters that I did share available for you for free. And you see approximately the investment of the time that you need to do this pass. Each pass is aligned to different scenarios. So when we're speaking about AB 730, it will be mostly, I want to learn about how to use AI, specifically with Copilot. And when we're speaking about AB 331, it will be, I lead the organization and I want to work on adoption and mostly change management of the practice related to Copilot and Microsoft AI solutions. So if I summarize a bit what I'm speaking so far, both exams are beginner level. To pass the exam, you will need to achieve 700 from 1,000 points. You have 45 minutes, approximately 30 questions to 40. But honestly speaking, 45 minutes is more than enough because it's no code, it's just practical scenario-based questions. During AB 730, you can expect the questions about Microsoft 365 Copilot, as well as about researcher and analyst agents. So you need to know how to use Microsoft 365 Copilot in Outlook, Word, Teams, PowerPoint, and Excel, and to be sure that you know when to use AI or not. Officially, there are three domains. So the first one is related to this knowledge of Microsoft 365 Copilot. So it's a general, basic knowledge. What is large language model? What is generative AI? What is the difference between chat and agent experience? And also some basic of responsible AI, like transparency, safety, security. The second domain of knowledge that will be verified, it's your capability to create the right prompt. It's why I also did mention that even if you use not only Microsoft technology, it's quite useful certification because it guides you about how to write a good prompt, how to structure it, and also how to manage it, add it to the notebooks, and create your basic agents. And the third area of focus is how to use Copilot in meetings, so Copilot in Teams, pages for collaboration, and also how you can generate the documents and manage summaries. So it's mostly related to Copilot in different bricks, like again, Word, PowerPoint, and so on. So as you can see from the slide, the three domains, they're not really technical. It's mostly about your capability to know when to use Copilot and how to create a useful prompt. For the AB 731, as I did mention, everything that you see on the right slide here, it's the same. It's beginner, it's 700 runs. The difference will be really about the scope. As an AB 730, we focus only on Copilot. AB 731 will check your knowledge of AI adoption, as well as your knowledge of change management. So it means that you don't need only know Copilot in 365, but you will also need to know what is Microsoft Foundry and basic AI capabilities related. But again, it's still to be business certification and not a technical one. If you look on three domains that are verified and validated here, we'll see a bit more technical concepts, not only about fundamentals of generative AI, but also everything related to the cost. So it's meaning tokenization, how you're built inside of the solution. We are going back to prompt engineering, but also it will include a bit more technical concept like grounding of the data, RAG, and security. There is a bit more focus on the full Microsoft AI solutions. So not only Microsoft 365 Copilot, but also understanding how it's different from Microsoft 3 version of Copilot and what you can do with Microsoft Foundry. And the last part of it, it's aligned to adoption, change management, how to educate people in your organization, what is landing zone, center of excellence, and how you can secure your artificial intelligence system. So you do see that the both of them are related. I would say that AB 730 could be the first step, AB 731 could be the second step. Why? Because there is an increase on the knowledge that we want to verify from you. You need to know not only Copilot, but also be aware of Microsoft Foundry solutions. How to prepare now? So I did mention that they're quite easy, but the first one is to be sure that you understand the outcome of the exam. The second, the use cases, tools, governance, and adoption. From my perspective, the best way for you will depend on your learning type. Me, for example, I always like to watch videos. I don't like to read, so I usually will skip Microsoft Learn part and watch first the video, and after that read the parts on Microsoft Learn that I'm not sure about. I know that some people will prefer actually to go to Microsoft Learn page. If you come back here, I'll just bring the screen back. I open our official certification. I technically will open the module, probably check, read everything here, different part of it, and complete the mandatory knowledge check at the end of each module. So I cover it, I read it. After that, if I want to go further, I can take the practice assessment. It's on the same page. Practice the sandbox of the exam if it will be your first exam. And as well, review the study guide. So each exam will have a study guide. When we open the study guide for AB 731, we'll review all areas that are covered. Very important what I'm sharing with you now. It's the study guide for the May of 2026. Why I'm saying it? Because sometimes we adjust the content of the certification. Let's say there is a new solution or rebranding coming and the exam content can be modified. So it's very important that you double check also if there are some changes. If there are some changes, it will be reflected straight away on this page. So this is the same percentage that I did share with you, the foundational concepts. So you can double check what is included or not in the exam. And as you can see here, it's exactly the same scope that I did share in the big lines on my slide. The idea for sure is not to go into details here in 1 hour, it's just to give you an idea on what to focus the most. But what I like about both of those exams, they're very easy to pass because they're very business-centric exam. So I will show you some maybe specific parts of both of them that you need to know, where you will probably have some tricky questions. Otherwise, it's about general knowledge that you know what is generative AI, how to write your prompt, and differentiate different Microsoft solutions. So here we saw the study guide for AB 731. If you look on exam AB 730, you'll find the same skills measured section with the percentage of each section during the exam. So it's exactly the same information that I just shared on my screen with more details. Before you go for the exam, just double check that everything that's specified here you know or you read in the past. And also it could be a good guide for you to say, okay, I actually know very well about configuring agent knowledge, but I'm not sure about how to share it. So I will go to Microsoft Learn and double check specific part of the exam. This is quite important. Also, when you look on the exam on Microsoft Learn, a big tips for you, it's a screenshot from Microsoft Learn, overview all the tables. Because usually when we use a table format on the Microsoft Learn, there is a big chance that the question from the table will pop up on the exam. Also, if there are some important parts that are highlighted in Microsoft Learn, they usually pop up during the exam. So the first important tip for those two exams is to be crystal clear about what are different Microsoft services and the use cases related to them, because this exam is very use case driven. So it's why, for example, you need to know what Microsoft Copilot is, that it's embedded in all Microsoft 365 apps, that you know that Foundry, it's included in Azure, that GitHub Copilot helps with the code, that Dynamics will enhance your CRM system, and there is also Copilot in Power Platform. So all of these details you'll find on Microsoft Learn, but for the exam, be sure that you understand clearly the purpose of each Microsoft product. That is why, as they ask you to know the use case, they also verify your knowledge of the cost when we are speaking about AB 731, and it's probably the biggest trap. Why I'm saying it's the biggest trap? Because it's very different from other exams. Before, we used to use a pay-as-you-go model. I consume Azure, and when I consume Azure, I will pay for credits, or I will pay for deployment, or I will pay for the solution. So I will have my monthly pay-as-you-go billing. When it's coming to Microsoft 365 Copilot and Microsoft Foundry, they don't have the same subscription model. And it's a lot of people are confused during the exam, because we love to ask those questions, as this exam is business exam and not technical exam. So it's why it's important to understand that Microsoft 365 Copilot is based on per user per month predictable monthly cost. It's subscription based. While Azure, it's still the pay as you go, but you will pay per token. What I mean by paying for token, I really love to use OpenAI official website where I have different models. And if you look here on the short paragraph, you'll see that approximately 4 characters will be 1 token. So we have many as a token, words as a token. And sometimes when we use emojis, it's actually multiple tokens like we can see here. So when you use those generative AI services in Azure, you're actually paying for tokens and not for characters. And moreover, they can also ask you on the exam if the pricing is different from model to model. Yes, the answer is yes, from region to region as well. And you also need to know that what you will pay for input prompt and output prompt will be different pricing. So it's a typical question from the exam, because during the exam for AB 731, they will ask you also cost-related questions. That it's not at all a case of other exams. I also will take a few questions that pop up on this step in the chat. From Fernando, so Microsoft has to convert token cost to subscription cost or capacity units in the case of Fabric, correct? So in the case of Azure, you will pay for tokens. So there is for a specific amount of tokens based on the model pricing, as will be paid as you go. And in the case of Copilot 365, you'll have a subscription based. And there is also something new that pop up. It's not yet on the exam because it was not updated to this point while we were recording it. But there is also a new model that is based on ACU because Microsoft introduced Microsoft Pre-Purchase Plan, P3, and it's something new. So today, as for May 2026, it's not into the exam. But it doesn't mean that in the future it will be not part of it, because AB 731, again, is for business. So today we have different models for Copilot Studio and for Azure, or now we call it Microsoft Foundry. But also we have one pre-purchase plan in which one we will be paid based on agent commit units, ACU, and in this case, it's the same billing for Copilot Studio and for Foundry. And one ACU is equal $1. So it's very simple. Your payment will be based on ACU, one ACU $1, and it's the same billing across all Microsoft platforms. But again, this one is not yet on the exam. When we look on the study guides, there is no notion of ACU, and it speaks only about subscription and consumption based. But I prefer to mention you about P3 prepaid plan because it's something that was also announced recently, and for me it's only the question of time when it will be on the exam. Follow-up question in the chat. This may become suddenly very important for companies to control all the employees using the technologies, or if they don't pay attention to regulated rate. It's important to understand what you pay for. The good point of view from business perspective for both solution and Microsoft 365 Copilot and Foundry is that you have billing limits. So you can actually set up how many tokens each user can submit. You can also control the quota, as well as you can set up actually billing alarms. As soon as you're, let's say, 80% of your consumption, you'll receive an email. So it's very easy to manage in Azure and also in the Copilot Studio or Microsoft 365 Copilot because you have a full control on limits of your billing. So you can specify. Even if you go for ACUs today and you select this prepaid P3 plan, you can always select the size of your plan and just extend it later if you want. On the GitHub Copilot, also a question in the chat. It's a different business model, right? So there is a separate subscription for GitHub Copilot, as well as a separate subscription for Copilot in Fabric, in Power BI. So it means when you go for Microsoft 365 Copilot, GitHub Copilot, and Fabric Copilot, so for example, Power BI Copilot, are not included. The only plan today at Microsoft that includes both and GitHub Copilot and Microsoft 365 Copilot, as well as Fabric Copilot, it will be this prepaid plan that I mentioned. Otherwise, they're all part of different subscriptions. Okay, I hope it's clear. So by default today, it's different subscriptions, it's different plans. The only exceptions that we have today is this prepaid pre-3. If a customers go for a Microsoft Agent pre-purchase plan, it means that they have full access to Copilot Studio, Foundry, GitHub Copilot, and Fabric Copilots. Otherwise, there are separated solutions. And thank you for your question in the chat. Actually, a very important one, and it's a lot of Microsoft users asking the same one. A second tip for the exam, where a lot of users are confused, it's a different between different Copilot family, because we have Copilots in 365. So it's mean I open Excel, I can use LLM to ask questions about my data, generate visuals. I can use Copilot in Teams to generate the meeting, create mails, and etc. But as I mentioned, Dynamics 365 Copilot, it's a separate Copilot. GitHub Copilot, a separate one. Power Platform is a different one. And Copilot Studio, it's a custom agent solutions, it's also a separate one. While Microsoft Foundry, it's mostly a developer tool where you have different capabilities like analyze the documents, create avatars, use vision services, speech services, and use AI search. In the case of Copilot family, it's all related to end users. Microsoft Foundry solution, it's related to developers. Again, for exam, you don't need to know how to use all the solution. You just need to know why they're used for. So in the exam, as AB 730, no one will ask you a question, show me how to deploy, or explain me how to use a vector in AI search, and etc. Those exams, it's really about use case and understanding why we bring those solutions to the business. Yeah, and thank you also, Fernando, for putting extra link about GitHub Copilot billing in the chat. Highly appreciate it. I will be sure that after we finish this recording, that we'll also add in the comments all the links that I mentioned and all extra resources, as all of the solutions have different billings plan. And I appreciated your help. And also, what is it important for this exam? It's to know the difference not only about Microsoft 365 Copilot and Foundry, but also know the difference between Copilot Studio and Microsoft Foundry. Why it's important? Because there is a lot of confusion for which use case we use which solution. And as I mentioned again, those exams are very business related, so use case driven. We use Copilot Studio as a full SaaS environment. So it's software as a service, it's end user. You can use it with different connectors. You can publish your agent to Teams. You can publish your agent to Outlook. You can govern your agent. You can decide who can see it. You have multiple templates. So if I want to have an assistant who can answer questions about vacation policy, HR questions, I just connect it to my internal system. I don't need to be a developer. I write, I want to create an agent that will answer a question about vacation, and in one click, it will deploy my agent, and I just select the channel, so the location of my agent. It means that it's for business expert, operational teams, and so on. While Foundry, you can also use it for agents, but in this case, it's for developers. I have an agent framework related to it. I can use it with all Azure services, and it's a PaaS. It's a platform as a service. It means that I can fine-tune my agents there, and so on. So this is very core difference if you decide to pass AB 731 exam. There are a lot of questions about the difference between two products. So again, I'm not giving you the full content of the exam. I'm just giving you professional tips on what to focus if you want to be successful and to have more than 700 from 1,000 points. So you need to understand those crucial differences. For sure, they will be on the exam. To simplify it and remember it for exam, my tip is to know that Copilot Studio is a SaaS for end user mostly. It's natural language. You just write your prompt, you say what your agent should do. And Foundry, it's more coding space. You can use APIs with it, SDKs. It's mostly for developers because it's a platform as a service and it's integrated with all Azure services. So this is an important difference for the exam. If you want to prepare for the exam, the time that you will need to prepare for the exam will depend on your background. If you're a technical person like I am or Ilgar is, it's very easy to prepare yourself for the exam because you probably already know all of the solution and terms, and honestly, 2-3 days will be enough for you because you're familiar with technical products from Microsoft. If you're a fully new person and you have never had any experience with Microsoft products and solution, it could take up to 4 weeks to be ready for those exams. Why? So this is a roadmap that I suggest for those who are newbies. You start on the first week with Foundation, you read about generative AI, responsible AI, you read all the best practices about prompts, how to make a good prompt engineering, how to avoid bias, how to be sure about the security of your AI solution. So you kind of take 1 week for suggestions, maybe 1 hour each day, and you just cover all Microsoft Learn models. On the week 2, you look on the Copilot. For what you can use Copilot, you try Copilot in different solutions. If you have access to it, you use templates, and you try the solution as much as possible. And as I mentioned, AB 730, it's only about Copilot. So as soon as you know how to use Copilot in 365, you're ready actually for AB 730. So let's say the second week you spend by playing with Copilot in different Microsoft products. On the week 3, you can focus on AB 731. So it means that you not only understand the difference between Copilot, but you look on different Azure scenarios. Like, for example, what I use vision services for, what I use AI search for, and what I use speech service for. You don't need to practice. You just need to understand the usage of all these Foundry services. And you understand well after also the cost, as well as you focus on understanding routing and RAG, so everything related to how add your data into your agent. And on the last week, you can go to Microsoft Learn to test different knowledge checks there, make practice assessment, and also probably review some videos on YouTube. So far, I did share with you official pages where I did mention that you need to pass the course content, make a practice assessment before, but also if you look online on Microsoft Learn YouTube channel, you will see that there are some free videos related to both courses. Sorry about it, it's in French, but you will see each time when we publish something, you see the title of the course. And if you look on different courses here, you'll find GitHub courses, as well as we have, for example, AB 730 in video format here as well. Also, very good resource. There are multiple demonstrations in it for those who want to pass exam, for example, but doesn't have Copilot license. It could be a good way to update your knowledge by reviewing the demos on those free videos. And honestly, as it's business exam and it's business related, it will be more than enough to be ready for the exam. So let's say the longest roadmap for preparation will be 4 weeks. If you already worked with Microsoft and you're a technical person, it could be 3 days, for example, just to review all business use cases and mostly the cost models provided by Microsoft, because we technical people, we are not always aware about all billings purposes, but we know very well the architecture. So for us, these 3 days, it will be mostly to upskill ourselves on change management and the cost models, while for business people, the biggest part of investment will be to understand different Microsoft solutions there. And also, be sure when you read the question, you understand the question of the exam from the logical perspective. So don't answer fastly. Why? Because sometimes it's not about only what is the easiest solution, but we focus a lot during the exam on speed, scale, and the cost. So sometimes in the question you can have some part of the question saying from the speed perspective, what is the most cost optimized solution, or what is the right fit. And it's important to understand for the exam as well that Foundry, it doesn't mean heavy, and Copilot Studio doesn't mean simple. The term on the exams that could be used is Foundry, it's a PaaS, platform as a service, and Copilot Studio as a software as a service. Why it's important? Because we do see from both customer users, sometimes people use Copilot Studio and after that migrate all the processes to the Foundry. And sometimes our customers will use Foundry and after that come back to Copilot Studio. Both movements are easy. So if you have a question on the exam about the differences, Copilot Studio mostly for end users and Foundry for developers, but doesn't mean that they are not interchangeable in some way, because sometimes we also don't need to have fine-tuning and we actually can build our agent in Copilot Studio. So it's again a small tip for the exam. It's what we love to ask into it. We already spoke about P3 that probably will be added to the exam in the future as the important change at the cost model at Microsoft. And when you read or you select the solution, analyze well during the exam equation, who is building the agent, how much control you need, who needs to automation, what is the best choice based on time, and if there is a need of expansion of the agent or not. So it's kind of 5 important questions to ask yourself when you analyze exam use case. Again, it will be all about use cases. So read the question carefully just to be sure that you select the best solution. So as we have last 2 minutes before Q&A, what I suggest to you to start, official study guides, first of all, just to evaluate the need, what you know, what you don't know. After that, you identify what you know, you don't know. You look onto the free training paths on Microsoft Learn and on YouTube videos. And if you feel you're ready, you pass the practice assessment on Microsoft Learn. As soon as you answer 70% of the question right in correct way, you can go for the exam. A short reminder, on exam, the format is 45 minutes max. The pass score, you need to have 700 for 1000. It's scenario based, no coding, no technical question, all business related questions. And it's all that I wanted to share with you. If you have any questions after this meetup, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. Thank you for your attention. As a reminder, the shortcut to my LinkedIn is aka.ms/Alexandra. Thank you for your reaction. And now, as planned, 10 minutes Q&A left. Any questions about both exams?
Thank you very much, Aurora. Not Alexandra, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. Yes, Aurora, I also have this issue sometimes. What I see, I say.
Sorry. Just there were some more. I mean, one more question from Fernando, who asked about vouchers for these exams. As far as I know, there is no voucher, but would be glad to hear also from your side.
Yeah, there is no like one-page official voucher for it. Sometimes there are events proposed by Microsoft Learning partners or Microsoft that provide vouchers. From my knowledge, as soon as we release courses in the format of Microsoft Virtual Training Days, most of Microsoft Virtual Training Days do have 50% discount provided up to date. Why I'm saying as today? Because honestly speaking, this policy change. We had also 100% discount some time ago. After that, we had a period at Microsoft when we didn't have discount at all, and after that, we started back to provide 50%. So it depends from financial year to another. As you know, we're starting soon the new fiscal year at Microsoft. I have no idea how it will be next year because I currently work in a partner org, so I don't have visibility on learning reductions any longer. But the best way to choose your reduction on the exam is to check official Microsoft events, because usually during the big events there are always some booths with reduction provided. To give you an idea, during the AI tour, in some European cities, we did provide 50% reduction on the exams and free exams as well. So it depends. Usually during the official exam, we try to boost participation and we do provide those 50% or full payment. There is no official one channel for it. Just stay active, look on the big events. Otherwise, I also know that a lot of people got those reductions from the employer. Sometimes they have some partnership agreement with Microsoft, as well as some learning partners. They also have those vouchers available in limited quantity. So they organize event on their side and they provide them during the event. So today we don't have any longer like one channel for distributing them. We try to invest in in-person events and provide vouchers during them. I would say the best recommendation will be double check what is available on virtual training days, because they're for free and they have this voucher. And also to double check with Microsoft Learning Partners, because they usually do provide them at least for 50%. And depends, I see a reaction in the chat also, who is your employer. Otherwise, another way is to become a Microsoft certified trainer. So I also do have some reductions on it. So it could be a tip being MVP, Microsoft Valuable Professional, or being Microsoft certified trainer could bring you a lot of benefits related to the exam, but for sure it will be an extra investment of your time, but also a very good way to meet a community. For example, both of us, Ilgar and I, are Microsoft certified trainers, and it's provide us also some demo environments as well as exam reductions.
Yes, and also, to be honest, I'm not sure you have shared the info that I'm going to talk about during your session or not. Sorry for this. Why we chose these two exams? The reason was that these exams are going to be mandatory one of them, for those who wants to become MCT. Is that correct? Can you talk about this, Alexandra?
I have no official information on it personally. Double check on the MCT launch. I
Okay.
didn't see yet the official confirmation there, so let's
It's
see.
yeah, actually, the information has been shared on a MCT LinkedIn page. Not
Okay.
yeah. Okay,
On
so that
MCT
was the
LinkedIn.
reason I shared it. So this okay, and one more question: is there any documentation for as a learning path for AB 731? I know
Yeah,
that.
there is both of them. So both of them on Microsoft Learn, so like study guide and the pass. And for MCTs, for example, you have also an extra documentation on Download Center.
Okay, yeah, I could find the documentation for AB 731, but for the other one, it offers other links for studying.
On
Okay,
which portal exactly you could not find?
I'm talking about Microsoft Learn. So
Okay.
I have already shared that link in the chat. But regarding AB 731, unfortunately, there is study guide link, but not study, I mean, how to prepare for the exam. So documentation, I think, is missing, but not missing. They offer you other links where you can study for the exam.
Okay, there is
Okay.
a study guide so far, practice assessment. A second, I will share my screen. Study guide, practice assessment, and it's basically all. But when you go to study exam, you will review also the links available from there. Because what do you usually use when you're saying that you're searching? Some kind of downloadable version, or what you're looking for specifically?
Yeah, here, you see, find documentation. So what's the documentation? Yes.
You find
Okay.
it because
So,
usually you will have. I just want to see the difference between two study guides. For me, they look quite same actually. About 730 and
yeah, briefly saying, AB 730 exam is for just how to apply AI in specifically Microsoft Office programs, if I'm not mistaken. And the other one, AB 731, is for business leaders, for those who are much more interested in AI adoption,
yeah,
transformation.
change
So,
part, adoption and
yes,
transformation.
yeah.
But also be careful because when you say that AB 730 is just about how to apply, AB 730 it's fully Copilot based course. So it has a lot of question about Copilot.
So, one more part in your session attracted my attention more was that the difference between Copilot Studio and Microsoft Foundry. It's very really important because sometimes people, example, based on my experience, they think that um, actually, in my understanding, the Microsoft Copilot Studio is for building AI agents. Is that correct? If I'm
Both
wrong,
of
you can.
them are used
Both of
for building
so
AI agents.
so.
It's
What's the
why I put the
difference?
slide.
Yeah.
The difference will be that Copilot Studio, as I mentioned, is software as a service where everyone could build the agent independently of your previous experience. So you have templates, you have connectors, you can add your knowledge. And it's
Okay.
mostly done via interface or via UI, while Foundry has a platform as a service solution. It means that you can integrate it with all Azure stack, and it's mostly related to developers who also want to fine-tune the model, go a bit deeper, integrate some skills like vision, document intelligence inside, and so on. But both of them are used today to build agents. It's just the complexity of your agent and your resources, human resources, I mean, that will impact the final selection of the solutions that you will go for.
Yeah. So now I would like to thank you all once again for attending today's session. Also, special thanks to you, Alexandra, for sharing your expertise and insights with us. So I hope this meetup will inspire you to continue learning and developing your AI skills for the future. So thank you once again. So see you in upcoming meetups.
Thank you so much, Edgar, for inviting. Thank you everyone for the question in the chat. And for those who are watching the video, don't hesitate to put your question in the comments on YouTube, so we'll answer there. Or if you have something very specific, again, you can reach out on LinkedIn. I usually answer technical questions there. Enjoy the rest of the day. Good luck with certification. I'm sure that you will nail it after you did your preparation as recommended today. Have a wonderful evening, day, or night, everyone.